Welcome to DynaVap Live. Today is Thursday, August 27th. It is 4:19 p.m. I'm Retail Josh.
I'm George.
And I'm Pranav.
And welcome in. We're going to be talking about accessories today, but before we do that, let's do some shout-outs from the chat. Where are people watching from?
We have Jamal Joseph and Star Particles from Alaska, Kind Kid from Cleveland, Wayne from New York, first time to the Dynaverse, welcome. The J-Dog from California, Sean from Canada, Maxime from Canada, Kyle from Canada, a lot of Canadians, thanks for joining. Dutch Mike from the Netherlands, Jetpack Tribe from Buffalo, New York, Paul from Wisconsin, Chris from Scotland. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Yes, definitely. Thank you all for joining us. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified whenever we release more content, such as these streams, episodes of Exploring the Dynaverse with George, episodes of The Snap. There's tons of content out there just waiting for you to consume it. So subscribe, support us, and let us know what you like. And also, if you are a new customer and you have any beginner-related questions, share the hashtag #FirstClick in the chat, and we'd be happy to get those answered for you. And so I think now is a good time to thank the community, don't you think, George?
I would love to thank the Dynaverse, Josh. It's such an important part of who we are. Thank you to the FC Forum and r/DynaVap on Reddit.
Vapor Asylum is another big one. Vapor Ents. Yes. They're a great community. And that community is what allows us to grow, thrive, and really kind of create that sense of family and constant improvement. It allows us to get that feedback and improve as fast as we possibly can.
And there's one other community I'd like to put a little emphasis on, and that is the Dynaverse Discord. If you haven't joined the Dynaverse Discord, Pranav will put a link in the chat. It's the only way to get in. It is not open to the public just yet because we want to kind of keep this invite only. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where other members of the Dynaverse will be able to invite other members into the Dynaverse, which is kind of how this whole community has been growing from the beginning anyway. Super cool place to be. Many, many different channels, including channels for art, movies, music.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and speaking of movies, that's one of the things that we organized on the Discord, which is our Dynaverse Watch Party. It's our first one that we're going to be doing after the stream at 6 p.m. Central. We're going to be getting together and watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So if you'd like to participate, go on Netflix. That's how we're going to be streaming this, and you'll want to download the Chrome extension Netflix Party. That's what's going to enable you to chat with us. If you don't want to chat with us, you can still click the link that we'll be supplying in this chat as well, and in the Discord, so that way you can join us, and we really look forward to that engagement.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Yep, and another part of that community is the retailers around the world that help get our product into everyone's hands. So now I think is a great time to let our sales dude, Jeff, kind of tell you about a little few of the stores around the world and in America. Take it away, Jeff.
Welcome to DynaVap's Wholesale Spotlight. I'm Jeff Alexander, sales dude for DynaVap. Today we are featuring 3 DynaVap wholesale partners: Crazy J's out of Arkansas, Get Weird Smoke Shop out of South Carolina, and Sunshine Daydream based in Missouri. First, Crazy J's, with locations in Fayetteville and Conway, Arkansas, carry a full line of smoke, vape accessories, merchandise, and of course, DynaVap. Visit them at their 2 locations in Conway and Fayetteville, Arkansas. Our second shop is Get Weird Smoke Shop, with 3 locations in Spartanburg, Greenville, and Anderson, South Carolina. Get Weird carries a full line of DynaVap products, as well as glass, vape, hookah, and e-products. And our third and final wholesaler is Sunshine Daydream, a new wholesale partner with 5 locations in Wisconsin, Illinois, and 3 Missouri locations. Sunshine Daydream carries a full line of smoke and vape accessories, CBD, t-shirts, detoxify products, and of course, DynaVap. Visit them at their locations at Cosmic Corner in Racine, Wisconsin, Emporium Smoke Shop in St. Louis, Missouri, and their 3 Sunshine Daydream locations in St. Louis, Missouri, Fairview Heights, Illinois, and Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. If you have a shop in your area that should be on our website, send their information to me, Jeff, at DynaVap.com. For more information, please visit DynaVap.com and click Where to Buy to see all DynaVap shops and e-commerce sites around the world.
And if you live near any of these shops, support them. That's going to put that money directly into your local economy, and it really allows you to support those stores, especially during this time. Wouldn't you agree, George?
I think it's one of the best things that we can do for our local businesses is support them. Whether you're ordering carryout or pickup or delivery or dining in, these local businesses, they really appreciate that support. It makes such a difference to the ability of these businesses to stay there so that if you need some nuts and bolts, you can go to the hardware store versus ordering them online or ordering from Amazon. I know I really, really like the hardware store in my local town, and even though I might pay a few pennies more for some nuts and bolts or plumbing fittings, it's worth every little bit to me.
Well, not to mention, I think this is one thing that's often overlooked, is you talk about sustainability. It's a lot easier to go to your local store, pick it up. If you can walk to the store, even better. But there's, with the individual packaging, to ship that, it takes up more volume. It's a lot more resources taking one package to get to a person.
Oh, sure. Plus all the fuel that's consumed during the delivery process.
Exactly.
But all that aside, in general, a lot of these local businesses are owned by local families. And again, having that convenience of being able to take a quick walk or a bike ride down to a local store to get that thing that you're looking for, there's real value there versus having to wait 2, 3, 5 days to have it shipped in. And I really, really appreciate being able to do that. And I also really enjoy supporting these local businesses.
Yeah. Oh, and now with how the mail is moving a little bit slower now, you have that other benefit of getting your products much sooner.
And then for our international customers, although we really appreciate you ordering direct from us, and I know there's some things that you can only get direct from us, but we're really doing our best to supply and support those retailers around the world with a wide selection of products so that you can order them and have them quickly and have a much more streamlined experience through customs.
100% agree. Now, Pranav, we have some giveaways today, don't we?
So we're doing a couple of giveaways this time, and I think it's 5 things we're giving away. So I'm going to pick random winners from the chat, random comments, questions, so keep them coming. And I'm going to announce one winner straight away. So Grow School said that he's a newbie here, and I think this is probably his first live. So congrats, you win an Herb Ripper Mini.
So congratulations.
That thing is so
That's after getting a little bit more experience with the Herb Ripper, I can say it is an awesome, awesome grinder. So
it's also nice in the regard that unlike pretty much every other grinder on the market that's aluminum and the really cheapies that are plastic, these are stainless steel, which fits really nicely in line with the vaporizers that we manufacture, made out of stainless steel or titanium.
yeah, and I was talking to Kevin from Herb Ripper. One of the advantages of it is those teeth stay super sharp for so long. It cuts through anything so far that I've put in it. And what else are we going to be giving away, Pranav?
We will be giving away a special DynaVap speaker. So for all your audiophiles out there, we're giving away one speaker, a BB3, and some of the nice artwork you see behind George and Josh.
All this stuff?
Yeah.
And we'll have more to discuss about that later on in the show. And this is just a great example of why it's fun to be part of this community. And speaking of that community engagement, check out our community tab on our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter. Every time we do a stream, we ask a new question to get us some feedback, some information from you guys. And so this episode, we decided to ask, what's your favorite midsection material? The options being glass, metal, wood, mix of materials, and other. With metal being the clear winner. What is your personal opinion, George, on both on the manufacturing side and using?
Well, so I have my stash here, and inside my stash is a BB3. Now, would this be a mix of materials because there's 2 different colors of glass? So would it fit in the upper category of glass or the lower category of mixed materials, which would then constitute almost 50% of the respondents?
Now you're making it complicated. And what about when it comes to manufacturing? What do you enjoy working with the most?
Materials.
And what about you, Pranav?
Good question. I spaced out. I was going through the
you
chat.
are up in space, so it makes sense. So Run with it while you can.
It's fun, Josh. I think as a whole here at DynaVap, we like working with materials.
Oh,
because
100%.
When we think about the products that we're bringing to market, they're constructed from a wide range of materials: wood, metal, glass, etc., and even some plastic and other various components when we're talking about things like induction heaters, which we're not going to talk about a whole lot on this show, but we will be soon.
Yeah, and so it's another reason why you need to subscribe. And then I think now is a good time to take a few questions after we talk about these accessories. So in front of the table, on the front of the table, you see that we have these really cool turbo twists, which again were manufactured by Chris Casey from Compliant Technology, who has made the Galaxy Glass for us.
Yes.
He's made the larger turbo twist. So now we have the turbo twist minis, which are really nice. They're a little bit easier to hold while still having similar airflow dynamics. Is that correct, George?
Yes, it is, and they're just a really neat piece. I like holding these things, and it's just kind of a fun thing that even when you're not utilizing it for thermal extraction, it's just kind of fun to hold in your hands, and it's just a lot easier to manipulate because now it fits in the hand a lot better than the turbo twist does. So just in terms of size comparison, we can see it's about the same as a stash in terms of overall length, so not very big. And it's got that interesting twist to it, along with an offset air port, so we can create a nice little visual display as the air and the vapor interface with each other inside.
It makes it fun using the product with friends a little bit more visually appealing.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
More for them than for you, or more for you
I
than
mean,
for
the
them?
person who's using it is going to enjoy it the most, I think.
Well, it really depends on your perspective.
And then you had the BB3. Now, George, explain how the BB3's different. Like, what makes the BB3 different than the BB9?
It fits in my stash. And it fits in your stash, too.
And so, would the BB3 be a stem or a body?
It would be a stem, because it's exactly the same length, plus or minus a few tenths of a millimeter, surprisingly accurate, as the stem on an M.
And so, I really like the BB3. We mentioned on the community tab our favorite materials to consume with and manufacture with. I've always been really partial to glass due to the flavor aspect. I find it's to be a little bit cleaner tasting. Is that due to just the purity of glass in general, George?
You know, I think it is a somewhat subjective thing. I wouldn't so much call it purity, because is glass pure? Well, what material is pure, right? I think more of it is that some of us tend to have a little bit more of a sensitivity towards the detection of certain compounds, whether they're metallic or otherwise. And if you have a piece of your device that is not metal, it's not going to be contributing any of those metallic components that some people might be more sensitive to noticing there. But then again, I also think there's also just a perception factor here, where some people might think they're perceiving something, or they might kind of manifest on a suggestion from someone else.
A little bit of the placebo effect going on.
There certainly can be, and I'm not saying that it is or it isn't, okay? But I also think we're talking about nuance here, where the actual difference between one and the other is relatively small. And in order to really get a good grasp of it, I think it's really important that you experience as many different variations as you realistically can, so you can really dial in that experience that you're looking for, or just simply be aware of the differences, because sometimes you want a turbo twist. Whether it's because of the flavor profile, or it's because of how it feels in your hand, or because of the weight, because you just want something that looks different today. You know, you want to bring out the nice china because you got some family over, right? There's a lot of reasons why you might want something different.
Exactly. If you have the clumsy friend, break out the M. Nothing's going to get wrecked.
So Trix asked if the colors change if you use it often.
I'm guessing Trix is referring to the mini turbo twists, because those are fumed.
So with any fumed glass product, the color is going to change as you accumulate anything on the inside that remains. So when we're thermally extracting compounds from biomass, some of those compounds are going to condense on the inside of the device. And those compounds are not all completely transparent, therefore it's going to change the index of refraction and reflection. So yes, the color will change.
Well, thank you, George, for that answer. And Pranav, do you have another question?
Yes, I do. So Mutated Ape is asking George. He sees that you're a fan of hiding little gifts in random spots. So he wants to know if you've ever been into geocaching.
Yeah, I've looked into it before, but I haven't ever gone looking for things. But I love the concept, and I have to say that the concept of geocaching, it was so good that it inspired me to start caching little things in random spots wherever I'm traveling. And since the first 3 letters of my name are GEO, why not cache some things when we're traveling, right?
Yeah, I saw you were putting some kits in different places. Is that
Yes.
typically what you'll drop?
Well, it's been an evolving thing since the first concept, and now it really depends on where I'm traveling and how I'm traveling. You know, if I'm flying, it's harder to take along enough mass of stuff to leave really cool things everywhere, so sometimes they're a little bit more compact. But when I'm traveling by car, and I can fill the whole trunk of the car with various different things, well, then we're going to put big, cool things in various different places.
Perfect.
So
And
thanks for that question. I think we all enjoyed it. So congratulations on winning a JBL DynaVap Bluetooth speaker. That's Mutated Ape.
well, congratulations, and reach out to JC at DynaVap, and we can get that sent out to you. And so with any of our accessories, like the different midsections that we're offering here today, they can be heated in a variety of ways. One of the most common ways that we see people use are a single torch or a triple torch. But a double torch is one of the most useful tools you can have in your arsenal, so that's what we're going to be talking about this week's episode of The Snap. Welcome to The Snap. This is the segment where we answer frequently asked questions in a very rapid-fire format. So let's get right into it. On this week's episode of The Snap, we are going to be discussing heating tips with a double torch. A double torch gives you a great balance of precision and even heating depending on which technique you use. And I'll be going over 2 of those techniques with you today. First thing you'll want to do is take a look at the jets on your torch. You'll notice that they are in line, and we're going to use that to our advantage. For precision heating, similar to a single torch, ensure that the jet orientation is perpendicular in relation to the tip and cap on your VAP cap. This will give you more precise temperature control so you can focus on those low temp or high temp draws. And remember to heat the tip for a tasty rip, heat the base to launch a space. Rotate your torch 90 degrees so the jets are parallel to the tip and cap. Then tip at an angle and heat and rotate like you did previously. This method will heat the entire length of the cap and result in even heating, which is perfect for beginners and outdoor use. In conclusion, the double torch is one of the most versatile tools you can have in your repertoire. Just focus on where you put the jets, and you can customize the experience to your liking. What are your favorite ways to use a double torch? Let us know in the comments below. And once again, I'm Retail Josh, and thanks for watching. And welcome back. And now, as you can see here, we're joined by Nick Stewart.
Hello.
He's the co-founder of Illumify.com. And so, Nick, what is Illumify?
Sure. Thanks for the question, and thanks for having me on the show. Illumify right now is a marketplace where you can purchase the aluminum panels you see behind Josh and George there. Really what we're trying to do is enable creators, photographers, artists, long-term to be able to supply artwork to us and really put it onto something that's truly unique and pretty breathtaking when you're standing in front of it.
And tell us how Illumify got started. What's the story behind it?
Sure. So in 2019, I acquired some large format dye sublimation equipment that I purchased with the intention of printing apparel on. COVID threw a little bit of a wrench into that, and I was left to go back to the drawing board to see what other materials could be printed on, what other kind of products could be made. And through some iteration and a lot of hours, found that aluminum is a great substrate for dye sublimation. We spent quite a bit of time refining and finally got to a product that you see behind George and Josh now. So the art itself is fully formed. It's single piece. It mimics that of a canvas print that it's typical to see on a wall. The image is completely visible to the front and then along the sides at 90, and as well on the back side of the wall-facing mount point as well.
And how did you get involved with DynaVap and George? How did that relationship come to be?
I've been a part of DynaVap as kind of a backroom player, a contractor since the early days, since 2015. So George and I and the greater team have built relationships since then. As I got this, along with some partners and some other contributors, we got this going and off the ground. I met with George, and then shortly thereafter we met with the rest of the team and felt that the product itself would be a really great fit to the DynaVap community, the Dynaverse as a whole, and something that we're all really excited to share with you guys.
And now, George, this is a question for you. This all kind of started with the collaborative art move project, correct?
Kind of. We started with the tea time thing because as Nick was going through some of the initial iterations, he was talking about how we could make these really large format prints. It's like, well, you know, I sure would like to have something cool as the backdrop when I'm doing tea time. It's like, well, let's print some up. You can talk about it there. And so that's exactly what happened. He printed them up. It was really funny because the first couple were printed on shower curtains, right? But I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, it's proof of concept. This is how development of product works. And so then we did that and then came up with this idea. It was like, why don't we share that, you know, throughout the Dynaverse? And that's where the collaborative art project was born.
I do have a question since you mentioned the shower curtains, and it didn't occur to me before. What did you have printed on those shower curtains? What type of art?
Well, it was the background that you see on tea time. And if you don't know what tea time is, every Sunday at 8:30 Central Time, I host an Instagram live stream called Tea Time. And we really just talk about whatever is nice or fun or pleasant to talk about, do our best to keep the conversation as positive as possible, and just try and engage with the community.
Do you refer to it as a shower vap cap?
Shower vac.
And so, Nick,
Yes.
what you mentioned how it wraps around like canvas, and what other ways makes Illumify unique in the art space?
Sure, and I'll grab a panel here quick. So, being that we dye sublimate the image onto the metal itself, it creates this really cool reflectivity. As light hits it from different angles, it really brings the image to life. And then, I know we got a little challenge here with the green screen, but you can see that the color wraps all the way around. And then one unique component we have as well are these punched holes. So 16 inches on center on all four sides. You can mount it with just 2 drywall screws. We've had some people, and actually in the DynaVap office earlier today, we mounted some with a product that's similar to a command strip. The product itself weighs just over 5 pounds at this size, so it's fairly easy to securely and safely mount them to the wall, whether you choose to use screws or not.
And how does this whole process work? What is dye sublimation?
Good question. So we've got 2 key components of dye sublimation in our office. The first is a 44-inch wide format printer. The prints come out, they look similar to an inkjet printer that you would see just at first appearance. But then as we put it into a large format press, ours is 44 by 64 inches. With temperature, pressure, and time, we're able to take a solid ink that's on the paper substrate, turn it gaseous, and get it to bond with the aluminum in just over about 2 minutes.
So it's like a giant vaporizer.
It's like a giant vaporizer.
And so thank you, Nick. And where can people find out more about how this process works?
We've got some information. We've spent quite a bit of time building out our FAQs on Illumify.com. We've got some initial content up on Facebook, which is just facebook.com/Illumify, as well as Instagram, Instagram.com/Illumify. We will be building out more and more information, content into the site as we receive some questions back from the community and the first orders start to go out. So we're really excited to hear both what you think and any answers we're not answering here today.
And I see that graphic that was just on the screen. I see that there's a promotion going on with DynaVap and Illumify. Can you expand upon that?
I can. So through this weekend, starting now on Illumify.com, all of our art has been discounted to $99. All of it that's available on the site is this size, which is 28 by 35 inches. Just so it's a pretty good size wall piece. Included in that, the $99 transaction is a free Freedom Vap. While supplies last. If we sell out of the Freedom Vaps, we will be sure to include a 2020 M with each order, which has been a really cool thing, and I owe a great deal of gratitude to you guys for partnering with us and offering that promo. It's really cool. We're really excited to get rolling on it.
Well, thank you. And one question I have is, because I know like a lot of art out there, you have to be careful where you place it due to the UV rays. With it being aluminum, do you still have to take those kind of precautions? Is that normal?
You would take the precautions you would take with any type of art. You wouldn't want to place this in direct sunlight for an extended period of time. Natural light through most windows that you'll find in a home or a commercial space have UV protection built into the glass. We've also taken some steps to UV protect as well, but normal installation, just not exterior, at least currently, and then not in direct sunlight for extended period of time.
Perfect. And right now, because I see that Pranav selected some winners here for the first Illumify panel, Christopher Suarez or Suarez Christopher, reach out to JC, or actually no, we'll be reaching out to Nick. That's admin@illumify.com.
Correct. Yep.
And so for your panel, reach out to Nick and he'll get that sent out to you. And so congratulations. And then did you want to give him a specific one, or is he going to be able to choose?
Well, I think as the first winner should get first picks. So I'll coordinate with them via email, and we can show some other art that's available on the site as well. We'll work with you one-on-one and make sure you get something that you're absolutely thrilled about.
And this is a question that I would love to ask you, Nick, because you've been around with DynaVap for quite some time. You saw how the makerspace grew. Our community is very artistic. Will the customers out there at some point be able to supply their own artwork?
Yes, absolutely. We discussed having that ready at launch, but really what's important for us is that as we enable the makers and photographers and artists in the world, we wanted to make sure that the platform to do it was seamless, that the right templates existed, the correct upload process was there, so that everything is smooth from a user's end and then into administration and the actual sublimating process in our office. But very, very soon, and we will use the DynaVap platform as much as we can to communicate that information, but watch for updates on that.
Awesome. And now, George, do you have any questions at all for Nick?
Oh, it's fun, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun right now.
And so, when you were working with Nick on this project, what did you get most excited about with the potential for this?
Just seriously, the first couple prints that I saw, the transfer process onto the aluminum, was like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. Because what you don't see here on the video is how the reflectivity of the metal really makes the pictures just pop. Almost like a three-dimensional quality, and it is so cool to watch, especially when we get some really saturated images. Like you're going to see the one behind you, for example. It just looks like a picture. But when you're looking at it under natural lighting conditions and not on video, it looks like so much more. Same thing with this one. And as you're walking past it and the reflection is changing a little bit, because you've got the light that's literally going through that dye in the surface, bouncing off the reflective metal underneath and coming back through, it just adds a whole new level of depth.
And what did you think when you got to actually see the process being worked on? Will our customers ever get to be able to see something like that?
Yes. So that's probably going to be good material for our next edition of Exploring the Dynaverse. We're going to have a little how it's made episode and dig it a little bit more into how these really cool prints are made. Because it's not just the printing process. I want to make sure that we get in a little bit more in depth in terms of the forming process as well. So we had to design a template and a raw metal sheet that had the right geometry so that it could be bent and formed to more or less resemble a framed canvas, but not have a frame.
Mm-hmm. And so I see a question from Sean Lucas, and we kind of touched this already. Can they print whatever pictures you want? Will there be limitations as to when we are doing custom imagery?
Yeah, the only limitations really are just size. We need to have high resolution, large images just to avoid any pixelation or distortion on the panel when it's done. Again, we'll have all those instructions, and we'll issue the templates for the artist to be able to utilize, so that when it comes to us, it's correct right away, and that it streamlines the process so we can get it back to you as quick as we can.
And congratulations, Sean. You're actually going to be our second winner of the other print. And so reach out to admin@illumify.com and he'll be able to get that sent out to you. And speaking of the shipping, with this being a little bit larger, what's the typical turnaround time for something like this?
We'll primarily be utilizing UPS ground. So inside the country, shipping out of the same location the DynaVap's at, you can expect 3 to 4, maybe 3 to 5 business days at most once we are able to package and fulfill. Right now, we're looking at about a 1-week turnaround on the arts outside of what we have in stock. So as the catalog grows, we'll be working right behind it to make sure we're building inventory. But if we're talking about custom images or your own photography, your own artwork, once that becomes available, I would have an expectation of about a week to 10 business days for turnaround, at least in the immediate future.
And key thing here, like the rest of our DynaVap lineup, at least as much as is possible or practical, these are made right here, locally.
Yep.
These are not made in some off-site location. These are the things that we're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. Both the DynaVap is a 100% made in America product, as is Illumify. Our panels are formed maybe 300 feet from where our office is at a company called Dane Manufacturing. Shout out to them. They've been great through this whole process. So they take care of everything sheet metal for us, and it all happens right there. It happens in Dane, Wisconsin, just up the road from DynaVap.
And what kind of things are you most excited for when it comes to the future of Illumify?
Sure, that's a great question too. So right now we have a 3/4 inch side standoff from the wall. So the art that is available on the site right now, that's all of it is that way. So it'll protrude 3/4 of an inch from the wall. With the forming technology that we have access to, we'll be able to increase that to 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, maybe 5, and we'll be able to add some more complexity to the geometry and the final shape down the road as well. So we're eagerly awaiting to see samples back from that, and we're just working as fast as we can to build the catalog for you guys to shop through.
And will you be offering international shipping at some point?
Soon, yes. Not at launch, which will happen this weekend. I would anticipate within the next 30 to 45 days we'll be ready for some international shipping, at least to Canada and Mexico right away in most of the EU.
Well, thank you. And so we'd love to see some more questions for Nick, but in the meantime, I think we should touch on one of the other aspects of a new feature on our website, which is the Build-A-Kit. We didn't touch on that before. And so the Build-A-Kit is a new feature. If you've been on the site recently, it lets you, as the name implies, build a kit. So if you've ever wanted to make your own custom kit, this is going to be the way to do it. I'm just going to stress, make sure that you are referring to the compatibility chart on the website, because that's going to be how you know if you're purchasing an XL stash, you need an XL device or vice versa. And so you select your device, then you need to purchase your stash, and then you have to choose some items of gear, which can be a torch, it can be your O-ring replacements, which I highly recommend, your CCDs. It's all very important. So check it out. It's a really smooth process, and let us know what you would like to see changed. And here's a great resource here. You can see the BB3 will fit in a standard size stash. The BB9 will not fit in any, but hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
And then the different compatibility. So refer to that compatibility chart. It's going to make your whole experience much smoother. There you can see the difference between the body and the stem. Bodies are going to be 45 millimeters, with the stem being 62 millimeters. And so here's a great question. I think this one is perfect for you, George. What's your favorite type of cheese?
Generally old.
And what about you, Nick?
Ooh, I'm gonna go pepper jack. I'm simple, but I like spicy.
See, I'm on the same page as you. My favorite, if I'm going to get really specific, is rattlesnake. It's a pepper jack made with, I know, habanero, some other chilies, and tequila. Very, very interesting. I'll have to bring some in for
Oh,
you
you
sometime.
lost me at tequila, Josh.
Oh, you're not a tequila fan?
No tequila for Nick.
It's so good. And so here's another one too. Jimmy C had an observation. Did you know the airport on the 2020M looks just like a whale's blowhole I saw yesterday on a Discovery Channel?
I did not know that.
So it wasn't intentional.
No, it was not intentional. It's not quite the association I would have anticipated.
I know that you like to hide a lot of Easter eggs in with the product, so I wasn't sure if that could be one of them.
I would say that as a company, we just like to hide a lot of things in general, Josh.
And so that was a fun question here. And then, Nick, I do have one question when it comes to Illumify. Sure. As the company grows, are you going to allow for more varied sizes, smaller, bigger? At some point, if someone wants a frame, will they be able to have that option, or you want to stick to the self-hanging canvas look?
So I would say out the gate that we'll definitely stay to the single form, just as we build out our catalog in the different sizes. We're putting together a catalog right now with our sheet metal supplier that ranges from 8x8 up to 40x60 finish size. So I would say that once we progress through that, you may see some other backing that comes along with it or other framing, but I think in the immediate future we're going to see the single form frame that we have currently.
Now this is getting a little bit more into the technical details here, but it helps with, it's kind of hard to visualize the clarity of these images. Mm-hmm. What is the resolution on these images, like the DPI for that screening process?
Oh, sure. So, boy, I wish I had Paul from my office standing right here. I'm sure he's watching. So we can print up to 1440 DPI. The majority of the prints that we push out, the settings are around 720. We are able to accept 300 DPI images, though. That would constitute the majority of the catalog that we work with.
Excellent. And I want to congratulate Jimmy C on winning your BB3. And so reach out to jc@dynavap.com. And so we're going to start wrapping things up, but before we do, we'd love to take a few more questions.
One more thing, Josh. We have some new cases on our website, don't we?
We do. We have the new Hemp Bags. I think we have one of them around here. And so this is one of the options that you can use in the Build-A-Kit. You can also purchase it separately, and these are all made out of hemp.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and so they're really sustainable, nice, durable. I really like them. It's great for travel, and I would find myself using this quite often. It's a lot easier to throw everything in a bag and have everything centrally organized and located. Okay. And so I want to reiterate, we're going to be doing the Dynaverse watch party. We're going to be watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail. To participate in that, just click the link that is going to be in the chat as well as the video description. It will be shared in the Dynaverse Discord as well. And you will need to download the Netflix Party Chrome extension if you would like to chat with us. So we would love to see you there and have some fun, watch a good movie, and just have some laughs and share some clicks.
And if you haven't joined the Dynaverse Discord, Pranav will put that link back in the chat again one more time. Mm-hmm. We really encourage you to check it out. It's a really cool place. If you don't know what Discord is, then you definitely should check it out, because I think it's one of the more appealing platforms for just communicating and interacting with people that share similar interests.
Mm-hmm. I love it. It's a really fun community, and it's always evolving and changing. Yeah. And you'll see a lot of the people in the Discord chatting here, so you'll develop friendships that will continue to grow and evolve as well. Yeah. And so we want to thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so and ring the bell so that way you're notified whenever we release new content. We want to thank Nick for joining us from Illumify.
Oh, thank you guys.
I want to thank Ben and Bryce behind the camera, Pranav for helping with the questions, and for staying cool out in space. And we really appreciate you all for tuning in. We'll be back on September 17th. If you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you do, because there's some really cool giveaways and photos on there. We want to thank you all for tuning in. I don't think there's anything to add.
I think it's been a great show. Thanks everyone for watching, and we hope to see you again on the 17th.
Have a good one.
Thanks for watching. For more videos, click here or here, and don't forget to subscribe.